Now, let me introduce myself. I'm Mike or Miguel, the fourth son of Elon and Domin. Now, I've been wanting to write this piece long before Mommy lost her health, just so she could read it, and I've always felt that it's, well, without taking anything from the previous speakers, felt it rather pointless for people to do eulogies when their subjects are no longer around, to hear all the good things that are said about them. They're not able to confirm if what is being said is true or not, or are they able to defend themselves from what is being said. Now, Mommy would have probably edited this piece if she had the chance, but unfortunately she did not. Now, what I'm about to say may come as a shock for those of you who think that Consuelo Dancel season should be beatified. Now, that is what I'm trying to say here, is that Consuelo Dancel season had a dark side. Yes, she did. She was capable of inflicting pain. Yes, she was. When we were young and living in Scott de Gia, we used to get shipments of green mangoes from Pangasinan. These were in trains or containers of native materials. But these would be kept stacked up on top of the cupboards in the kitchen, just so they can ripen. Us boys, however, were unwilling to wait for these mangoes to turn yellow. And what we would do would be to conduct operations to steal the mangoes. In one of these operations, I was tasked to go into the pantry, climb up and reach for the mangoes on top, and throw these to someone by the kitchen door, who would in turn pass it on to another and out the house to be eaten later. As I was reaching for another mango, I heard Mommy come in through the back door of the kitchen. I quietly closed the doors of the pantry, hid inside as the others slithered away. While inside the pantry, I could hear Mommy going about her business in the kitchen. All of a sudden, the pantry doors swung open, and there was Mommy shrieking to the top of her voice, loudly, scared out of her wits, not expecting to see a body inside the pantry. The sound of her shrieking caused me to shriek in turn, and there we were, both yelling, scared shitless. And that was when I felt the wrath. That was when I felt her wrath. Tiny sharp pinches with the pointy ends of her nails, which went all over my body, from my arms to my armpits, down to my legs, the inner side of my thighs, and other unmentionable parts of the anatomy. I was in so much shock and pain, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I think I ended up doing both. Yes, she caused me such pain, she did, and deservedly so. She was capable of violence. Yes, she was. There was one time again while we were still living in Scott de Gia that Lolo Ingo came home from work, sat down to eat his dinner, and Mommy, being the good wife, had his meal all prepared and laid out on the table, as she always did. She normally would sit down next to him and keep him company, make cuento, and would peel the shrimps and debone the fish as he was eating. Now, this one night, Ingo noticed that his usual sauces were not complete, and there was no patis. No patis. He started a litany of complaints and carried on ranting about not having his patis. This brought Ellen to tears and started her sobbing. Now, out of the blue, she stood up, picked up a plate and I think it was one of the blue plates or whatever, and smashed it on the table. She then started throwing crockery at Ingo, and that's when we all scampered away, running for dear life, out the front door with flying saucers in the air, ricocheting off the walls. We took shelter behind our car, a Ford Taunus it was, keeping our heads low, with Ingo cowering among us. Now, I'm not sure how it was resolved, but I never heard Ingo complain about not having patis ever again. And Celeste was born 9 months after. And yes, Elong was a sex fiend. Yes, she was. There were times when Ingo would come home from long trips to the provinces, attending court cases, and often I would see Elong meet him at the carport, and they would embrace and have long, passionate kisses. They would linger in this embrace, and as a young boy, I would stand there and watch, get jealous, and wonder if or why my mother loved my father more than me. They would then lock themselves away in the room for hours on end, and yes, most probably having sex. But no, definitely making love. It wasn't until I gained some carnal knowledge, was married, and had children of my own, did I truly understand why or how different the love between husband and wife is, and the love of a mother or a father for their children. Elong and Ingo were love fiends. Yes, they were. And there is ample living proof among us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eulogy and Tito Mike, for